business with the best in the industry.
Welcome to another episode of the Don Davis Real Estate Show. It's your host, Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, broker by EXP, broadcasted live here from sunny South Houston, Texas, 6161 Savoy. The Word, 100.7 FM, KKHT. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Upon that rock, He built this church. And upon that rock, we have built our business. And our results are a reflection of our character. If you don't believe us, you can check our HAR reviews at any time. We are HAR Platinum members, and we strive for excellent customer service when it comes to the benefit of home ownership. Live in the studio today, I'm privileged to have a guest, Mr. Elder. Mr. Elder is a Houstonian, born and raised right here in Houston, Texas. Actually started out in Spring Branch when it wasn't too bright. You told me the humble beginnings you had at Spring Branch showed you that you had a destiny ahead of you. You got to see some rough stuff growing up in the old Spring Branch, but since then have not only helped yourself have a better environment, but also helped plenty of others have a better environment as well. Is that true?
Yes, Don. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on. Privileged to be here.
Yes, sir.
And yes, just like you said, my humble beginnings.
Yes.
That taught me a lot. It made me want to be the person who I am today. I believe it was my destiny to help individuals, get out to and go and own a home, just like I did. So it brings me great pride. And when I sell a home to someone, it's not. I don't see it as a transaction. I see it as life changing.
That's awesome.
Changing somebody's lives. Doctors tell you, hey, we save lives.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know what? I pride myself in saying that I change lives.
Change lives and save lives too. I can honestly say that what you do is definitely a factor of saving life because, like you said, Spring Branch wasn't always bright, and at that same time, it was some life or death decisions that had to be made at that time because there are environments that are so rough that not only are you changing lives, you're saving lives because you're putting the kids in a better environment. And it's funny how things do gentrification and things like that can go full circle. Because now we literally have properties in Spring Branch that upward of $1 million. But you, like you say, you got to see the community go full circle. Kind of explain that transition when you knew it was time to leave, when you knew it was safe to come back. Kind of reminds me of the storm. I know I want to go ahead and tell everybody out there who had experienced flooding recently with Emaiil. We're praying for you. We understand what it's like to go through a natural disaster, and we understand the faith it takes to persevere through that. But on the spiritual side, I feel like you kind of went through that as well. It's like Spring Branch was flooded with crime, and then you guys cleaned it up, and now it's one of the most affluent communities in Greater Houston area.
Yeah, it does have had a huge turnaround. From where I started living there, early '90s. 91, and yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
And my mother, she actually said, she decided, she's like, we got to get out of here. So she said, I don't care if I have to work 2 jobs, but we got to buy a house. And I saw how hard that was. That process, left something in me. And I said, it can't be this hard to actually buy a home.
Exactly.
And again, it put me in the right path to do this, to not just help everyone else, that because a lot of people out there, they believe that owning a home is very difficult.
Yes.
When in reality, it's only 6 steps. It's very easy.
It's 6 steps. And he's going to touch on that 6 steps. We're going to come back to that 6 steps. But right now, I want to also mention, I go to Lakewood Church. I want to give a shout out to Pastor Joel Osteen. Today, he talked about what's in the obstacle that's in the way of your destiny. So this show, we're going to call What's Getting in the Way of Your Destiny of Home Ownership. What's getting in the way of your destiny of home ownership? Is it those 6 steps that Elder needs to elaborate on to help you understand how to own a home? Or is it something spiritual? Is it something that seems like you just came from a poverty-based background and now you're stuck leasing? Well, I feel like God has put us in this business to help people transition from the environments we were in. Your environment was Spring Branch. My environment was an area in San Antonio called Denver Heights, right by the Alamo Dome. The Alamo Dome wasn't always the Alamo Dome. We used to have a project called Victoria Courts. It was a very, very rough area on Durango Street and I-37 in San Antonio, Texas. So you got to realize that when somebody places someone like this in this business for you, it's for somebody who's seen your situation, not only have they seen your situation, they've lived your situation, and now they can help you cross over. And that's what you just talked about today, Elder. You say you help people cross over from one environment to the next, but it's 6 simple steps. Go ahead and share 6 simple steps to home ownership.
Yes, absolutely. So, I obviously I work for Lennar. And at Lennar, we have 6 easy steps into owning a home. So step 1 is always figuring out the area, right?
Yes.
Where do I want to live? It's got to be close to 2 things that matter to you the most: family and where you work.
Correct.
Right. So once you find the area, step 2 is pretty much figuring out your mortgage qualifications.
Yes.
It's just adding your income and your bills. It's an easy formula. And then step 3 is actually going out there and picking out your home.
Exactly.
Right. Once you find the right home at the right price,
yes.
Then you could go ahead and comfortably say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and reserve that home. Exactly. And that's actually step 4. The step 5 is finding out your lender, whoever you feel comfortable with. At Lennar, we have we own our own mortgage company, so it's awesome. It makes it easier. It's a one-stop shop. That's step 5, and then step 6 is my favorite one. Don, is when you get the keys to your home.
You get the keys, so you finished. You've closed and funded.
You've closed and funded.
And I like that. That's our goal when we meet a client, to help them transition and know the 6 steps of home ownership, especially the first-time home buyers who are nervous about stepping into their destiny because they've been afraid by floods of crime, floods of bills. We were talking about today that some people have mental health issues, some people have financial health issues, and some people just have goal issues. So those issues can be addressed when you have a professional who has been in your shoes before. And so that's very, very important that you find a professional like yourself, Elder, to help them transition from one side to the other. I saw a lot of people out there this weekend rescuing people that go out there with 4-wheelers, they go out there with boats. Well, guess what? We're here to rescue in the home ownership business. We're here to rescue you from Section 8. We're here to rescue you from paying high rents for a luxury apartment that's not really luxury. We're here to rescue you from paying somebody else's mortgage, because when you lease, you're paying somebody else's mortgage.
Absolutely.
So we're here to rescue you from that. But also, you mentioned something that, and like I said, I talked to a lot of sales professionals who work for several builders, but I really picked you to come on the show and Lennar because I know, first of all, Lennar, everything's included. And as far as you and your experience levels, been doing it. Matter of fact, how long you been in the new construction business?
I've been in the new construction business for 6 years now.
6 years in the new construction business, and a lot of people don't realize. People say different industries have high turnover. 6 years in the new construction business is like 18 years in any other business. So if you made it 6 years in new construction, you definitely know what you're doing. You touched on one thing that I had never really thought about the other day. You said it's only 2 reasons people don't buy a home. What are those 2 reasons?
Exactly. So there's 2 reasons why people don't buy homes. One is they can't afford it, and when I talk about affordability, Don, I don't mean financial affordability. I mean mental affordability.
Okay.
Because some people they'll rather go and buy a car.
Yes.
And that's what we call, hey, you're driving your mortgage.
Wow.
Don't drive a Cadillac and expect to pay $700 for your home and then $900 for your car.
Exactly.
So
we say you rather have a landlord or a Land Rover.
Yes,
But either way you're gonna have.
Yes.
So you wonder. That's to me, it sounds like a fear of commitment.
Correct.
It's a fear of commitment. I've met several people who are older and single, and then I've met several people who got married at a decent age when they made a good decision, and you see their lives parallel, same age. You take a 50-year-old married and a 50-year-old who want to play the field. and so they rented a few women. Yeah. But they never bought into a woman.
Exactly.
And then you kind of evaluate their assets. Yeah. And you find out 9 times out of 10, one has more equity than the other.
Yes. So, it's always going to happen. So
don't be afraid of commitment.
Don't be afraid of commitment. You could definitely mentally afford your home.
Yes.
And think about it. At Lennar, we also have a philosophy, why rent when you can own?
Correct.
And the reason why we say that is because if you think about it, simple math, if you're paying $1,000 a month in rent, and just a year, that's $12,000. But if you fast forward that to 5 years, that's $60,000.
$60,000.
Why would you want to throw away $60,000?
Because you don't understand the value of the money. Or I saw a slogan today on Facebook, said you don't appreciate the water in the buckets until you carried your own water.
Yes.
So you must then maybe the money comes too easy for you.
Yeah.
Till you don't realize that you need to make your money work for you. So our money's working for us right now. We're gonna go ahead and go to our first commercial break so that our money can work for us. Once again, my name's Don Davis, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP. Got Elder with Lennar Home, straight out of KE, Texas. Love where you live. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
You want to excel, Don Davis is a great guy to work for. I mean, he's a great teacher and a great leader.
He's more than family. He's the guy that's actually helping me roll. I didn't know anybody when I moved out here. He's the guy rolling his sleeves up saying, come on, let's go move what you got to move.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. We're back. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP. Love where you live. Lennar Homes, everything's included. Elder with plenty of experience. Elder Escobar, right?
Yes, sir.
Elder Escobar. And you guys are out there looking for Donald Trump, and I'm in the studio with Elder Escobar. I think you guys don't have your priorities straight. Today, our priorities is home ownership, and you should be listening to 100.7 KKHT, The Word. Even though Donald Trump is at the NRG, we're right here on 6161 Savoy, helping some people overcome the fear of the destiny of home ownership. Pastor Joel Osteen talked about today that a lot of people don't realize they have more obstacles when they have a purpose. And a lot of times that purpose of owning a home can frighten people. We just talked about that, being afraid of commitment, of making that monthly payment. And that's very, very important because I'll give you an example, Elder. I had a client recently. She called me to lease a home, and I said, "Why would you lease for $1,700 with a credit score of 680? Wow. You're leasing $1,700 a month. Your credit score is 680." She said, "I cannot buy a house." She yelled at me, and I was like, "Well, but you qualify to buy a house." But she had this fear of commitment, so I said, "Hey, if I get you approved for this same house, and the mortgage is less than $1,700 a month, will you consider buying the home?" "Yeah, but I heard horror stories about buying a house. I cannot buy a house." I said, "Okay, well, I got you approved. This is the interest rate, and this is what your monthly payment's going to be. You're going to save about $300 a month, and you're going to have some tax deductions as well because of any interest that you pay during the process, you can write off at the end of the year." "I don't care. I heard, what about the appraisal? What about the inspection? I cannot buy a house." And then finally, after we closed, she hugged me and said, "Nobody in our family has ever owned a home." Mm-hmm. She was just afraid to try. How often have you ran into that? I know you've met with numerous of buyers over the years. How often have you ran into almost seems like a post-traumatic stress disorder of a financial depression or a financial, I guess your trauma that people, they've had other financial trauma, so they end up taking it out on you, and you're trying to help them.
Yeah, no, I run into that all the time. Yes. Like I said, over the years, and one of the things is fear. Yes. Fear of the unknown, right? We as kids, we're born with certain fears, but we learn the other fears
to adapt them.
To adapt them. And so I do get a lot of people that say, "Hey, you know what? I've heard horrible stories about owning a home because you know what, their payment, they started out at a certain payment and now is outrageous." Yeah,
they had an adjustable rate mortgage or something like that, and now that has to be disclosed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That time is over.
Those days are over. And I ask individuals, I say, "Okay, so let me ask you this. Who did you hear this from?" Yeah. "Well, I heard it from someone who heard it from someone else who heard it from someone else." I said, "But have you experienced it?" Exactly. No. I said, don't let that keep you from raising your standard. Exactly. You know, Tony Robbins says this all the time. It's like, hey, always raise your standard. Yes. As human beings, you've seen how far we've come, right? We're not living in Jesus times anymore. We have to adapt and we have to see the vision of not for us, but for our children to give them a better future.
Didn't you hear about that one guy? They said that nobody had never ran the mile under a certain time until this one gentleman, I forget his name. So I think the mile had never been ran under 2 minutes or something like that. And this one guy said, well, just because it's never been done doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely. Records are meant to be broken.
Records are meant to be broken. So you can own a home. Right now, my youngest client to ever own a home is 25 years old. I had a 25-year-old put down 20%, no PMI, came to closing with 6 figures. That's my record client, 25-year-old. And they say, what race was he? I said, he was my race. And they were like, oh my goodness, he was not a drug dealer? No, he was not a drug dealer. He was an engineer. So you cannot, and he was from A-Leaf. People say, okay, well, he must have been from a good name. No, he was from the SWAT. And he was disciplined enough to put money up from every paycheck and focus on the fact that he wanted to own a home, and he didn't want to pay PMI, to where he put money up, walked to closing, put 6 figures down, and now he's a homeowner at 25 years old just because he stayed focused and stayed the course. So like you said, once you overcome that fear, you can hit his destiny. He was able to walk into his destiny and break records by, when I say break records, is I have never had anybody under 30 put down 20%.
No.
So that's one of my record clients. But it just shows me that where there's a will, there's a way. You set the standard, you walk into it, and then you go from there. Now, as far as Lennar Homes, I know, Elder, you were recruited by several builders across the greater Houston area. I know you can pretty much work for any builder you want to. Why'd you choose Lennar?
I chose Lennar for one reason. Lennar is number one.
Yeah.
And also Lennar, this company, we do care about our clients.
Yeah.
We do care that, we give them everything. When I heard that Lennar, everything was included, I almost fell backwards. Because every builder you go to nowadays seems to like everything is that's extra. And they bring you into their office and they say, hey, how do you like this home? And I love this home. Okay, this home has $80,000 worth of upgrades.
Wow.
And I just cannot believe that all of those things that other builders say are upgrades. Exactly. So I decided to go with the number one builder that not only cares about his people, but also gives everything included.
Everything included. So there's no games, no CarMax. It's kind of like the CarMax of new construction. You don't have to haggle this, that, and the other. What about granite? What about level 3 carpet? What about the baseboards?
What about ceilings?
Yeah, exactly. And then you guys even do the Ring doorbell, right?
Yes. Yes. So all of our homes are smart homes.
Yes.
We do the Ring doorbell, the smart lock on your home.
Nice.
And we preheat map all of our lots so that your internet and your cell signal is distributed equally through the entire home.
Do you hear that, teenagers? All the teenagers who are fussing over Wi-Fi. Tell your parents to buy you a Lennar home, because they make sure the cell signal is just as strong in the kids' room as it is in the living room.
Yes.
So all you Snapchatters and IGers, that alone tells you why you should buy a Lennar home. Well, we're going to go ahead and head to our second break. Once again, love where you live, love where you work. This is Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, brokered by EXP, broadcasted live from KKHT. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
Not only do we take care of our clients and our communities, we also are well kept here at DDLRG.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with Davis Realty. When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a Don deal. Once again, broadcasted live 100.7 KKHT after Emaiil. That's what we're going to call this, is after Emaiil. After the storm. It's sunny out here. We got Trump in the H, and we were sitting sideways with him. But anyway, but it's all good. We got to keep some comedy in the show. Want to give a shout out to all my listeners. Roy Benavidez out of San Antonio, Texas. He's been in new construction out there in San Antonio for a while. I got Robbie with KW. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Robbie. He's my court brother. If he wasn't a court brother, I wouldn't give you any love on the show. And Shannon Baldwin, keep tuning in, man. Way to go. Legacy Sports Science Academy on that gridiron. Y'all keep putting in that work. Hey, man, once again, this is Elder, straight out of Spring Branch. Before Spring Branch was Bright, he has now relocated to Katy and is now selling to first-time home buyers who desire the benefit of home ownership in Katy. Where's your neighborhood? How do they get there, and how do they contact you?
So it's extremely easy. If you're familiar with 99 and I-10, we're 5 minutes from it. So we're going to be on Porter and Stockdick. the corner of Porter and Stockton, and we're actually building a beautiful church right in front of our neighborhood as well. It's going to be 15 acres. We have lots of amenities. They're going to have a cafe inside, splash pad, indoor playground, outdoor playground, and a green lawn so that kids can watch movies.
Nice.
So it's going to be amazing. Our neighborhood has 2 water fountains, a family park, a playground. It's just beautiful. It's only going to be at completion 175 lots.
Okay.
And it's just amazing. It's right in the heart of, if you guys know where Ventana Lakes and King Crossing is, we're like right in the middle.
And so you're right by Paytel High School, that brand new Katy High School, Paytel High School.
Pito High School, yes.
Yeah.
Pito High School, we're zoned to Katy ISD.
Perfect, Katy ISD. So you got excellent, what we call excellent school ratings if you're zoned to Katy ISD. Then also you what are your price for? What do you start at?
So we start in the low 200s. We start right at 214. But then again, just like you said earlier, everything's included. So there's no ups from there. So that's just it. And we cap at right around 280.
So 200, a low 200 to 280. So then you might qualify for USDA loan out there.
Oh, absolutely. So we offer all the zero down programs.
Zero down. Is everybody listening? You can buy a home, first time home buyer. Well, actually, just anybody in that area. They do have zero down payment programs. So you're eligible to buy a home with zero down once you meet certain qualifications through your mortgage company.
Absolutely. And then we're also going to pay your closing costs.
Oh, you're going to pay closing costs and zero down. So literally, you put the earnest money down, and you can literally get that money back at closing. You can't even rent a home like that. If you go to rent a home right now, you got to pay a security deposit and first month's rent. What you're telling me is if I put that earnest money down 30 days or less at closing, I'll get that money back, and I'm able to walk in this house, possibly not having a payment for 45 to 60 days.
Correct.
And then my kids have a great Christmas. We have our first Thanksgiving in our new home.
Yes.
And we got some extra money to put aside.
Exactly.
Like I said, sounds like a win-win to me. So y'all need to contact Elder. How did they get a hold of you?
Well, you may reach me directly on my cell phone. You could go ahead and dial 832-955-7799. Again, I'll repeat it again, 832-955-7799. And Don, I really do want to appreciate you for having me on. I would rather them contact you first.
Okay, perfect.
A lot of people, they may believe that they don't need representation, but they do.
Yes.
Because you are the one who's protecting them and reading everything and make sure that they get not only a good deal but a great deal.
Exactly. We have to tell everybody a good real estate agent that specializes in new construction can really save you a lot of time and heartache. As a matter of fact, not only do we save you time and heartache on the inspection, the final walkthroughs, the estimate of cash to close, the amortization, when you want to close at the beginning of the month, end of the month, what does the fiscal year look like for that builder? How aged is that inventory? I mean, I can start speaking Greek.
Closing disclosures.
Closing disclosure.
There's
Make
a lot.
sure you receive that within 72 hours of closing. Make sure you DocuSign that closing disclosure. Make sure that nobody wire hacked you where now you're wiring money to the title company and you thought you were wiring it to the title company, but it's going to some hacker.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things that we have to work together collectively to get you the best deal possible. Now, I will say I do represent the client to my fiduciary obligation through the Texas Real Estate Commission, and Elder represents Lennar. However, what we can do is we do have a professional relationship to where everybody discloses, and that makes it a win-win. Elder's going to tell you, hey man, that house is of elevation B, it can't be next to elevation C. Hey man, this is the width of that lot, so you cannot have that in front of this. So there's a lot of things that need to be disclosed, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up today. Once again, 100.7 KKHT FM, the Word Network. Elder with Lennar Homes in Katy. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, broker by EXP. When it's time to make a business decision about being a first-time home buyer, please keep in mind it's a Don deal.
Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty.